Welcome. If we haven't met, my name is Ladi Jia. I'm a career coach for mid to senior level professionals who are looking to land an amazing, high paying job without having to go through a tedious, protracted job search process. I guide them through this their job search as well as other career changes using proven processes and methods. All right. So today on career my career drive live, we're going to be talking about mistakes you should avoid when considering or executing a career change. But as always, first, let me roll the intro. Okay. All right. So if you're watching the replay, by the way, welcome. I have loads of other videos on the page or the channel you're looking at addressing every stage of the job search process. Don't forget to, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. If you're on Facebook, like the page. If you're on LinkedIn, follow me. Every week at 12 noon, I share these tips. Sometimes I call in other professionals to share their stories. All right, so let's go to today's discussion. All right, so the very first thing, I always start from the mindset. You can't do anything unless your mind first goes with you. When it comes to making a career change, the very first thing you need to do is address your limiting beliefs. Um, on the surface, one might seem confident, or sometimes, like many people, right, approach the idea of change generally with some trepidation, and for good reason, right? Our mind is wired to protect us, right, from what it considers to be perhaps a potentially negative experience. And so there is always resistance to change, right? So your very first thing is to identify what are your fears, what are the things that are the mindsets, the beliefs that may hold you back, and deal with those, get them out of the way, right? Without doing that, you're not going to be able to move ahead. Most importantly, you have to bet on yourself, right? If you don't bet on yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't put yourself forward for opportunities, no one is going to do that for you. But more importantly, your whole access to opportunities depends on your ability to persuade other people to give you a chance. Now, if you cannot give yourself a chance, where is the hope for being able to get other people to give you a chance? So, two things: get rid of your fears and limiting beliefs, and take a chance on yourself. Put yourself forward. You never know what will come up. So let me go straight to point one. It may seem counterintuitive. Don't follow the money. And you say, Ladi, what are you talking about? I mean, the whole point of my wanting to do this is because I want to earn more. For many people, for some people, it's I want to earn a good enough living, right? Doing what I like, or so I can have time for my family. There are many reasons why people want to change jobs. I'm not saying money is not important. After all, part of my credo, right, is I will work with you to land an amazing job that pays you well. So yes, money is very important, but too many people make the mistake of changing career track because, oh, it's lucrative. I myself, I've shared several episodes when I'm searching trends. I look out for where are the lucrative fields, of course, right? But money is never enough. The money must be good, but that can't be the only reason why you're changing career track. It's often a bad idea because it could very quickly lead to dissatisfaction. I don't know if you have ever been in a situation where you were in the job, it paid the pay was fantastic, right? But it was hell to get up to go to work every day. I know a couple of people who have been in that situation. In fact, quite frequently, I've had conversations with people who, there are a couple of companies that, I know it's not a good idea to go there to work, right? There's a particular company I have, I know of, very strong, right, in the market, and the offers are out of this world. But I have never yet met a person who works there who was satisfied doing that. So that's just the company. Sometimes an industry or a type of work, right, could look really attractive from the outside, especially because it pays so well. But then you get in and you'll be frustrated. So there has to be more driving you. Typically, the things that sustain you through the times when things are tough or when things are not so exciting, and there's no job that is perfect all the way around. There will be parts that you intensely enjoy, and there will be parts that you have to really, reach in there to push through. The things that will get you, the thing that will drive you through the difficult points are your intrinsic motivations. What do you enjoy doing? What's your passion? I use passion hesitantly, but yeah, what's your passion? What legacy do you want to leave? How does this work fit in with your family life, the other aspects of your life, right? There will always be trade-offs that you need to make. Therefore, your decision cannot be based on money or just the trends or the fads. You're going into this thing for the long haul, so it bears some really deliberate thoughts. And it's amazing the number of people who are not really aware of their true motivations for change, right? You start talking to someone and why do you want to change? Oh, well, I want to earn more, and it's like, well, I have this strength, or I have this talent, and I really want to show it to the world. Then when you interrogate and dig deeper, you will find completely different motivation that they haven't. So some real in-depth honesty and self-examination is important. It may be that, well, okay, so I like this track, but I can see that it's really high intensity, and that's not the kind of lifestyle I want to live. It's valid, right? Then you then ask yourself the question, so what kind of compromise can I make, right? What kind of choices do I have to be able to speak to each aspect of my complete need? All right, so I don't want to belabor the point, but it's important not to base your decision on money or on just the money and trends. Make sure your new direction is something that truly um, motivates you. You must get clarity around that. Okay, so let me move to the next one. Oh, by the way, if you have comments or if you have questions, please go ahead and type it in. Whatever page you're on will ask you to give StreamYard permission to access your, so that your comments can show up here, or your question can show up here, and I will answer. Right. So on to the next. The next one is, don't be impatient or rash. If you go to YouTube or you search online, you'll find this, seemingly magical beings who say, well, I just got up one day and I was just tired of all the mess. So I decided to make a change. And I've chosen this great career that's working out for me. And I'm sitting by the beach sipping pina coladas. It doesn't quite happen like that in real life, especially because you are a mid to senior level person, right? So it follows that you have responsibilities, you have dependents, you yourself have, I mean, at the very least, bills, right, to pay. So you can't just up and, um, you know, decide, I'm changing right now. Don't do that. Some people, it's, oh, my boss is so horrible, I have tolerated, I can't take one more day, or they didn't promote me, therefore change. Don't let circumstances push you into making a rash decision. Your changing careers is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And so you cannot go it without having a clear plan, doing some in-depth research, setting up your support system. As I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. A 12-month outlook is reasonable, right? And it could take longer, and for some people, it could be faster, but it's best to prepare and be deliberate about the choices you're making. What are some of the things you need to put in place? Top one, finances. Get a rainy day fund in place, right? Because sometimes the change could mean you're taking a lower paid job, right? Or you're having to make some kind of financial adjustment or the other. If you are worrying about where your next meal is coming from, you are not going to be able to make sound decisions. So get a rainy day fund in place. As I always say, if you have dependents, discuss with them. Let everybody be aligned, right? Be on the same page and understand what to expect in the coming months. Get your support system in place, your networks, and I will talk about networking in a bit, right? Your networks, but also your mentors and also your friends, the people who will work with you, motivate you, help you through this process. Get support. I'll just round up by saying it's really difficult to stay the course, right? When you are not feeling balanced or when you're feeling under pressure from other circumstances. So know you're going to be looking to change jobs, try and put your house in order, right? You need rest, you need to be able to be resilient. Great. And so let me move to the next point. The next point is, yes, I said I was going to talk about networking. Don't neglect your networking. If you've listened to me, before, almost every single time I talk about how in job search, just general job search, in getting ahead in your career, and in career transition as well, networking is your key to success, right? It's really important. It's even more important in this instance where you're changing careers, because what you're essentially doing is you're going to be asking a future employer to take a chance on you, even though you don't have a proven track record in this particular thing that you're looking to change for. But they have to look at you and believe enough in your story, your vision, and where you're coming from to give you that chance. Rarely will someone who's just meeting you, right, just stumble into you and give you the chance. It takes networking, right? So you must have a proactive, consistent approach to networking. Let me digress and say, as a professional, anyway, you must have, and I will ask you a question, and I would ask you to really examine yourself, right? In terms of your career, do you have a networking strategy in place? What do you do weekly, daily, monthly to build up and to stay connected, to maintain your networks? If you're not doing it already as a part of your career management strategy, start today. Is very important. Now, let's come back to career change. Knowing that, oh, in the next 1 year, here's where I want to be instead. You must start very early to build up your networks. Of course, networking typically starts from people who know you, who have worked with you, then extends to people in the field you want to target, whom people who know you and worked with you can introduce, as well as people who are in that field who don't know you, and you start to make the connection and nurture those relationships. But you can't do it willy-nilly. It has to be deliberate. Now, you will find that even from when you begin to research this new field you want to go into, your networking starts from there. Because, of course, as I always say, talk. In Nigeria, we have a saying that in pidgin English that goes, "Sabi who follow who sabi road." always you must find people who have been there before, who are doing what you want to do, right? So from when, and those are people that you will talk to when you're doing your research. So your networking starts from there, and of course you keep building on. As you find out more, you identify companies where you want to work, etc., and you begin to make your connections there. Every step of the way, you're building your network until you're ready to launch your job search proper, right? Network, very, very important. Let me go to the next point. Yes, this one is very important. Know how to tell your own story. If Before you get into an interview, even as you're doing your research, even as you're telling your loved ones or your team, look, I'm looking to make this change, you had better be able to tell a compelling story, right? You need to be able to say, why does this change make sense for you, right? You have no hope of convincing an employer, right? Um, with If you yourself cannot convince yourself and if you cannot tell the story properly. And so telling this story involves where you're coming from, how you've proven yourself, where you're going to, your vision. What is it that elevates you? What is it that makes this change a logical progression for you? Why will you succeed? Why does the so there's the about me. So I've covered the why this change makes sense for me, why I'm a logical great choice to do this thing instead of this other thing I've been doing. Then you must extend it further to why is it a good idea for the employer to have you on board? Why is that? Why are you a good idea for that industry, right? What unique capabilities, contributions, right, are you bringing to the table? You must be able to paint a vivid, you know, picture of your vision for your new career, at the very least, you must be able to share a compelling mission for your new journey. Now, your story, of course, also then includes, updating your resume, updating your LinkedIn profile and other online profiles, right? As I always say, all those things, they don't speak to your past, they speak to where you are going, right? Know how to tell your story. Great. So let's move to the next one. The next point is don't wait for perfect. As with all change, change rarely ever goes in a straight line, right? You Even with organizations, there's an intended strategy and an intended outcome, and then you go into real life, the rubber hits the road, and those variations come, right? Same thing with, making a career change. Now, if you have your mind stuck, set on it must be this particular role in this particular type of place, you could prolong your own journey. You must look at it as a series of incremental steps. So your first foray, right, into the new field may not land you the exact opportunity that you're looking for. Be open to take a mid-range job, right? Be open to take something that um, takes you makes a significant change. Still, it may not land you exactly where you're going to, but it's good enough to move you significantly towards where you want to go. Your new opportunity, the first opportunity you will have in your transition, may not necessarily tick every box of where you're ultimately going to. Be prepared to adjust. It's likely to be an incremental change, which is not to say it doesn't happen for some people that um, when they make that foray, they get what they want immediately. But just from experience, I can tell you that is more an incremental journey than all at once. Then number 6, don't expect someone else to take the responsibility of training you. Now, there's a balance to this, and so let me explain what I mean. when you determine that, oh, I'm going to make this change, a lot of us, of course, immediately proactively research, get certifications, which is fantastic, right? But some people say, let me take a chance. Here's the thing, your new employer will know you're new to the field, right? And they're giving you a chance. Because you are mid-career, right, or senior, people, just by virtue of the level you are at, people have certain expectations of you. They may understand that, oh, the technical specifics of this thing will be different to this person. But remember, you've pitched to them that, oh, I have transferable skills that help me succeed elsewhere. That's why I think I can succeed here. So they may not necessarily give you the grace they would give an entry level person. You have to be extremely proactive in educating yourself, in reaching out for help proactively. Don't sit around and think, oh, well, they will onboard me. After all, they know I'm new to this, right? Some employers will give you the support, but you are senior. That, in fact, is where you can differentiate yourself. So take, I say, radical responsibility for bringing yourself up to speed in terms of your skills and your application of those skills, so that you can begin to have an impact rapidly. But of course, before they even give you a chance, they must see that you have made some investments in developing those skills. All right. So the next one, this one, it makes me smile because it speaks to, oh, um, follow your passion. I'm a bit skeptical about those passion statements around career. And I know that I have to clarify a bit. All right. So some people say some people's stories are, well, I was maybe in this bank job going there every day and I was tired. And one day it just came to me. I was born to do this. So I decided to do that. Very few people in real life suddenly have a vision or a revelation or a sudden epiphany that this is where I need to go. Some people do. Some people have always known what they want to do. But for the vast majority of us, we kind of have to figure it out. Don't sit around waiting for inspiration, right? It's a combination of being savvy about yourself, understanding what your needs are, what your strengths are, where you want to go, being savvy about scanning your environment, and constantly looking for the opportunity, that best positions you, right, to live the life that you want, right? It's not going to come in some great flash of inspiration. It's more likely to be, look, I need to make progress. So you're querying, what can I do? And you're adapting along the way. There will be gray areas. No one enters into these things, completely certain. You need to be comfortable with some level of ambiguity, right? Just check it enough do enough work to see that it makes sense. It speaks to what you really want and where you really want to go. And then, just make educated, I don't want to say guesses, but decisions as you progress. It's all about making the right judgment calls. You make the right judgment calls to the best of your ability, given the information that you have. Nothing is ever going to be completely clear. I just wanted to point that out. So don't let the fact that there's some ambiguity paralyze you. A lot of people start out with, oh, I must make this change. And then they get stuck in the analysis stage, or in the wait, when all these things align, then I will make. Don't do that. You will lose time that way. You have to have a bias, for action. So it's a thing of balance. All right. So I think, yeah, that was my last point. Ultimately, I think that the biggest challenge, because we're where we are, a lot of us are middle-aged, mid-career, so there's a lot of uncertainty and fear, the reluctance to leave what is known. Be prepared to make a chance. People are making these changes every day and succeeding. You can too, right? Oh, one last one. Don't do it without help. That's is very important, and I'm sure I've mentioned it a couple of times. Get help. get professional help, if you can. I mean, that's one of the things I do, right? I guide people right from interrogating, are you ready for a career change? Why do you want to make this career change? In what direction should this career change? What strategy should you take? Through to what's in the market, right? Through to getting really clear about what you're targeting, and then working with you to, define your brand, tell your story, do your networking, then go through the interview and then land, that job. You need help along that journey, right? And so if you want to have if you're looking at a change and you want to have a conversation about it, I offer, oh yeah, let me stop and I missed the comments. I keep missing these comments. Let me just go back. All right. Yeah, Sujoma says, please be prepared to adjust. And that's so true, Joma. Thank you for commenting. Teni says, how can I identify a passion that has the potential of giving me money? That's such a fantastic question, Teni. That's where your research comes in. So first of all, it's self-examination, right? Self-assessment. And if you look at the episode I shared last week, it was there's a series of, you can ask yourself questions. There's a series of assessments that you can take, right? That tells you what your strengths are, what your work personality is, what you're likely to succeed at. And then you ask yourself, so what do I want to get? Why am I making this change? That's on the one hand. Then we take that information, right? Combine it with your experience, your track record, the things your accomplishments you can tell an employer, this is what I've done. And then we turn around and we actually go to the market and do some serious market research, right? Where are the opportunities? Who is paying who for what? And then based on that, we then create your strategy. That's how it works. The only place you can, get information about what will give you money is from the market, right? So yes, research and self-discovery, those two things together are what will point you in the way. Fantastic question, Teni. All right. So as I was saying, if you would like to talk to me, right, about making your career change, then I'm trying to find my Calendly link. I offer follow me on LinkedIn, and on my LinkedIn profile, there's the Calendly link as well, where you click and then, or send me a message on any of the platforms you're viewing me on, right? I do a 30-minute free discovery call. And what we're talking about when you and I meet is, what challenge are you trying to address? What are your options? I can give you one or two tips as to, how to start your journey. And then I can tell you how I can support you and we can take it from there. All right. So that's it for this week. I just also need to mention that throughout this month, we are talking about career transitions. And I have some really exciting stories to share with you, right? I have 3 brilliant people who have, in the last 18 months to 2 years, made major career changes, right? And I'm bringing them to share their stories. Next week, we are talking to Zeno Faponda. Zeno and I used to work in HR consulting together. And then, in Nigeria. And then she made a change, right, to digital marketing. Very interesting journey. And she did that and did quite well at it. And she'll be sharing that story. But even further, she then relocated to Canada and had to go through another change journey, right? That took her into breaking into the Canadian market. Exciting story. I'll be sharing, her profile during this week. And on Thursday at 12 noon, next Thursday at 12 noon, she'll be here in the flesh to share her story and to answer your questions. Now, the week after that, we're going to be talking to Chris Alagua. Chris, comes from a project management background. He relocated to the UK recently and is working in a really great role right now as an agile coach. He'll come and share his journey as well. And then last but not the least, and you don't want to miss this one, This one, Ololade Awoyemi. Lolade has a HR background, and she also moved to Canada, and she has a very interesting story. She, about her journey into figuring out the market, the various, steps she needed to take before she got into this great role she now found in. Okay, sorry. Oh, thank you, Noye. Right. This great role she now found in Canada. So stick with me throughout the month, and thank you. Thank you, Noye. Thank you, Joma. Thank you, Temi, for your comments. I'll see you next week. Thanks for coming. Bye.